Welcome back to the Sci-Fi Chamber, and this is roughly where we left off. I just want to have a look and see if I did a little bit of stuff. Yeah, I guess I got rid of that thing there, but no problem. We're going to get back to it. So what we're going to do is add a few more details to this thing, and I'm going to press Shift A, Mesh UV Sphere. I'm going to change this to 16, and I'm going to rotate X 90 so it's facing the front like that. I'll scale it down. I'm going to press 3 to look from the side and Z to go into a wireframe. Select wireframe in 1. And what I want to do is zoom in here, press B, and get rid of all this bottom stuff here. What I can do is I can grab all of this stuff here. You have to sort of zoom in and make sure you get it all. Let's see if I got it. That's close to what I wanted there. Okay, like that. Then I also want to get rid of this back stuff. And then I'm going to press Shift and Alt and click E to extrude and pull that out a little bit, get a little bit of a straight section. So I have that. It may not be perfect, but that's going to be okay because it's, as you can see, it's going to be embedded in there. Now I'm going to scale it down, slide it over, and I'm going to, with that done, I'm going to Shift S, cursor to select it, bring my 3D cursor there. Shift D to duplicate and rotate Z 180. And now I have a backwards one. I'm going to pull that over there. And I want to join those together to make this sort of capsule type thing. So I'm going to Shift Alt and click this edge with all the vertices. What is that? Shift and Alt and click that one. So I have both of those and Control E, bridge edge loops. And I have that. Now at this point I can actually dissolve those edges. Let me go to 2. Shift Alt and click, Shift Alt and click. I don't need that, so I can go X, dissolve edges. And I have this. Alright, now I'm going to look down from the top, go into wireframe and border select and just get the size of this that I want. Move that a little bit. Let's shade smooth and see. Yeah, I think I'm going to push it down a little bit more. Make sure it's embedded like that. That's going to look okay, I think. And now I'm going to bring my 3D cursor to here, so I'm going to make sure this is selected, that face. Shift S, cursor to selected. So it's right in the middle. Now I can take this. I'm going to generate array, and I'm going to put 3. And now I'm just going to separate it. I'll look down from the top by pressing 7. Here, 7. And I'm just going to separate it until the middle one is right underneath that cursor. And then I know they're pretty good. All right, and I want that effect there. I just want to check this, make sure nothing is flipped. Good. I'm going to apply the array. I'm going to take these and I'm going to select that and Control J and just join it to there. All right, cool. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do sort of like an inset panel here. It was suggested to me by a colleague on the Discord that maybe I do some of that, so I think I will. So I'm going to select the body and slash key to focus on it and press Control 3. So I'm looking right at the side, and I'm going to put something in here. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to press 2 for edge selection and select this edge and Shift D to duplicate and pull it out. So I now have an edge, but I'm going to break it out. P, separate by selection, so I can use this. So I'm going to select it in edit mode and scale it down, and then press G to move it over here. And I want to make this sort of rectangular, sort of, I don't know, axis panel. So I've got that there. I'm going to press E to extrude, come out, and it doesn't have to be in line with this necessarily. So do something like that. I'm just going to pull it away from there, and I want it to have rounded edges. So I'm going to press 1 so I see my vertices. And I'm going to bevel those. I just want to maybe change the shape a bit. There we go. All right, so to bevel vertices, you press Shift Control B, hold Shift and pull. So it's split there, and there's 3, and that's probably rounded enough like that. Okay, but I don't want the whole thing. I want just sort of to make it look like there's a little bit of a border. You'll see what I'm saying. So I'm going to use the inset. I'm going to press I, hold Shift, and just pull it in just a little bit, not too much. Like, don't pull it in that much. Something like that. And then X faces, get rid of them. And so I just pressed A to select. So I'm left with this. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit more. And I'm going to do a Boolean. I'm going to press E to extrude, and I'm going to pull it through this. But it might be flipped, so I'll just check this here. See the way that it's flipped? And don't worry about the red here. You're never going to see that. So I'm going to make sure it's selected. So I don't know if it is. There. Alt-N, recalculate outside. So now it's blue. We want it to be blue for this to work. Okay. So it's pushing all the way through. So now I'm going to make sure it's on the other side. And I'm going to turn the shadows off for now. It's causing a weird effect. Now, to do the mirror, I want to make sure that my 3D cursor is right in the middle. So I'm going to select this. My 3D cursor is in the middle. So I'm going to generate mirror, and it's gone to the other side. I want it on both sides. Okay. Otherwise, you could cut this in half and mirror that, or symmetrize, or whatever. So I'm going to select the main body, and I'm going to add, generate Boolean. And I like to drag it up to the top of the layer stack. And then now there are two modes here, exact and fast. We'll try and see what happens if I use the first one and that. It may or may not have worked because this is not closed. So let's try, I'll apply it, and then I'll take this and I'll hide it. And it's actually done exactly what I want it to do. Okay, it's created that right there. However, we have this stuff sticking here, and I'm wondering if I get rid of this. Let me just select here, and I think I'm going to, if I Control plus to expand my selection, it's going to go to there. So what I'm going to do is, if I get rid of this stuff here, I'm just going to delete those. We probably see we see right through it. So I don't want to do that. What I do want is I want to pull that in. In fact, maybe I'll do it on both sides at the same time. All right, Shift Alt and click these. And now to get them both to move in, I have to scale in the X. So I'm just going to zoom in on this one. And I'm going to press SX, and I'm going to pull. I can hold Shift to move it slower. I just want it indented a little bit like that. And now we have what looks like a panel. But what I'd like to do is to bevel these edges here. 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click this and this. So I've got those edges, but I didn't go all the way around, so do another Shift Alt and click. So I want that, and I want to do it at the same time on the other one. So we have that, and then just zoom in and have a look at this. Control B to bevel, hold Shift and pull. And there's 2 edges, I want 3. And I'm beveling it so that it's just more visible, because I have the cavity shader right now on, and I want to see it nicely. So I want to bevel it. And hopefully that's going to be, we'll be able to see it. So now what I'm going to do is I want to do something else. And so I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to grab another edge. And I do this all the time. Shift E to duplicate, pull it out. I'm going to make like a little indented handle in there. Okay, so I'll do that, and so let's pull it out and let's break it out. So instead of bringing in like a cube or another plane, I've got it right here. E to extrude, pull back a little ways, do something like that, and then extrude in like that. And I'm just getting that effect because I have that on, so I'll turn that off. But it might be flipped, so I'm just going to go Alt-N, recalculate outside. And I like this panel to sort of be curved a little bit, sort of have rounded edges. So in 2 edge selection, I'm going to select there, 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 and there. And I'm going to bevel these. Control B, 3 is probably okay, like that. And then I'm just going to push that into here. And then, the edges of this handle or indent will be kind of rounded. I'm going to mirror this to the other side. I want to do both of them. So that one looks like it's in as well. So now I'm going to select the main body. I'm going to generate Boolean again, drag it to the top, and let's try this mode here again with the eyedropper. Select this, and then let's apply it, and let's get rid of those. And I can see it, but I can't see it very well, and that's because we're going to need to bevel. Okay, so I'm going to, and doing Booleans creates some weird geometry, admittedly, but that's just the way it is. And so I'm going to Shift Alt and click those edges, and I'm going to Shift Alt and click these edges, and just turn it so I can see it nicely. Control B and bevel, And now you can see it better. I hope that's not too big. And I might decide that I want to take these and pull them in a bit more. I'm not sure I want to, but let's try it. I'm going to scale in the X, SX, and push, I guess, to bring it in. And that's probably good enough. I could do something else, but I'm not going to bother. You put bolts in there, might look kind of cool. You know, you could steal one of these. I don't know how that would look. Let's take this. We're starting to build up, you know, the geometry. Let's shift D to duplicate. Let's pull that down. Let's break it out and then see, maybe scale it a bit. Maybe just put them there. I don't know. Period key will zoom in and focus on that. Obviously it's floating in space, so let's pull it in. And then press Control 3 to look from the side. G to grab or go. Make it a bit smaller than that. And just make sure it's embedded. Control 3. And I'll Shift D to duplicate. We'll just look at it and decide if we like this. Maybe I can do both of them and Shift D to duplicate. Pull them up here. Let's see, what does that look like? I think it looks pretty good, actually. So let's take these and let's mirror those to the other side and see if they went good. Okay, let's apply the mirror and take this and join it. Control J. I don't always join stuff, but a lot of times I do. Okay, so Alt H, what did I get? Oh, I gotta get rid of those. Slash key to bring that back. And let's go back to our sort of shaded view. I've switched this to black and just kind of liking that look for now. So we got those things on top. We've got that. And then it was suggested to me maybe I do something here, and I think maybe I will, but I'm going to go back to Studio and Material, this, just so I can work on this. I want to take this and Shift D to duplicate. I want to move it out of the way in case I make a mistake. All right, so what I'm thinking is let's just slash key and focus on this. What I'm thinking of doing is I press 3 for face selection, C for paint select, and I'm going to grab all of these faces and separate them out. I just have to decide if that's where I want them. I think so. So I've got those selected, so I'm going to press P, separate by selection. So that's now a new piece, right? If I Shift H, focus on that, you'll see what I've got. So now I've got that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this some thickness. But first of all, I think I'm going to do a design on here. And let's see. Yeah, we'll just try it. All right, so let's go Control R, drop an edge loop there. Control B to separate it. That's 2 going out left and right. And if I do that, let's see, if I take this edge, I think it's easier, actually. I'm gonna redo this. I'm going to give it some thickness first. I'm going to press E and Alt S, and I'm going to push to give it some thickness. Don't mind the noise outside. Okay. All right, and now I'm going to drop an edge loop in there. I will be getting rid of faces in a bit. Control B, I'm going to pull it out. And the reason I did that is because I want to use the normal. Just watch what I do. I'm going to select this face. And you see the way my cursor goes straight up and down or straight to the left or right. If I switch this to normal, it's sort of on an angle. It's basically normal to this. And if I pull that like this, it's following that normal. Okay, so that's basically what I'm going to want to do. I'm going to take these and I'm going to scale them out, scale them in the X a bit more. I'm going to drop another edge loop and Control B and split like that. Now I can select this face and pull it up and get that sort of sci-fi look to it. All right. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and to edge selection. I'm going to Shift Alt to click this edge and this edge, this edge and this edge. So Shift and Alt and click. And again, don't worry about this blackness. It's because I've got this on right now, which we're going to need. Control B to bevel and pull, and I'm going to have 3 I hope that's enough to give a reasonable curve. It doesn't look that good yet, but we're going to work on that. And what we need to do is we need to get rid of some faces. So I'm going to select this face and hold Control. That'll get all of that. Select this face, hold Control, get rid of that. X faces. We're also going to get rid of the bottom, so select this one and hold Control and select that one. It'll go all the way around the bottom, X faces. And by the way, we should go back to global. Okay, so far so good. Let's see if I can Shift H and just focus on this. So we need to do some beveling on this. So I'm going to, in 2 edge selection, Shift Alt and click this edge, Shift Alt and click that. See if it goes all the way around, and it does. And now I'm going to manually bevel this. Control B, pull with 3, and that's maybe 2, 3. And that has corrected some of the shading. Now I can also come in here, Shift Alt and click this edge, and maybe we can get rid of it. Maybe we don't really need it. Let's try it. X, dissolve edges. That'll straighten out a bit. Helps with the shading a little bit. Slash key or Alt H, bring everything back, and we have this. And hopefully that's going to look all right. Now there's more that we can do. I can try getting rid of this one as well. I'm going to dissolve it and just see how well it fits. It kind of doesn't, so I'm going to leave that, but I may be able to do something else. So watch this. Press 3 for face selection, C for paint select, and I'm going to mouse over all of these right there, and I'm going to try mesh, clean up, limited dissolve, and that's gotten rid of some of the other stuff that I don't really need, and I think that shading is probably going to be okay. Sometimes you can add a bevel and it will help. I don't know that I want to get rid of the inside. Let's just have a look at this. Back over here. I obviously don't want this in glass. So, and the other thing is it may be flipped. It's not. I want it in this. So I'm going to come over here to my viewport display for my color and make sure I'm on hex and just mouse over this and Control C. That'll copy it. Come back to here and I'm going to turn the alpha all the way up. I don't want it see-through, and mouse over here and Control V, and that'll put that on there. Okay, so now I have like sort of 3 layers, but I'm going to do something on this one here. And I'm trying to decide if I want to bring this up at all. I don't know that I can, so I think I'll stick with that. What happens if I do get rid of this now, actually? I think I will get rid of that, and then I'm going to put some design on there. And so what I thought I would do is let's first of all select that in face selection and Shift S, cursor to selected. That'll at least bring the 3D cursor right in the middle. I'm going to come back to this. Okay, so I can do what I want to do. Press 1 to look from the front, Shift A, mesh, cylinder. I'm going to make this, I'm going to leave it at 32. Scale it down. I'm going to rotate X 90. Pull it down here. Now, by doing that limited dissolve, there are no edges here. And when you do booleans, if you run through edges, you can run into trouble. But by getting rid of it, that kind of helps me out. I'm going to just focus on both of those. So I selected them, slash key. I want to make sure that this cylinder goes right through, because I want to create a hole. And I don't know why it would be there, but we're just going to do it. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this, Shift D to duplicate, G to move. I'm going to scale this one down smaller, put it somewhere there, make sure it goes through, and I'm going to break it out, P to break it out, so it's a separate object. 3D cursor's there. I can add a mirror, and I'm going to have this kind of design. So I'm going to apply the mirror and then join all those together, but make sure they're not flipped. Okay, looking good. And now we're going to do a Boolean on this. So I'm going to select that, generate Boolean, drag it to the top, try it on exact. I'm going to do that. Now I'm just going to hide those and have a look at this. And it turns out that it's cut it relatively nicely. There may be a few weird things. And so what I thought I would do is I have holes, which is what I wanted, and the shading may be a little bit odd, but don't worry about that yet. Alt-H, I'm going to bring those back, and I'm actually going to use them. And I want them all to be the same distance out. And so what I'll do is these two are, this one isn't. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to switch this. See this horseshoe? This is the snapping. I'm going to switch it to, I don't know, edge maybe. I'm going to start pulling this back, and as I do, I'm going to mouse over here and hold Control, and it'll snap to that edge. I'm going to do the same here. Select that face, pull it, snap to there. Okay. Now, I'm not saying I want them out this far. I'm going to select all of them, pull them in a little bit. I just want a little ring. And they're not necessarily curved the way this is, but I don't think that's a problem. I think it's going to be all right. I'm just going to pull these in. We're not going to really see the inside. Now, they're obviously covering the hole, and so what I'm going to do is come in here and select all of these faces. And I'm going to use inset. I to inset on all of them, hold shift, and it'll make a little thing like that. I just want a little ring. But now I have to do them individually by selecting this face and this face. And to make the hole, I'm going to press Control E, Bridge Edge Loops, and it'll make a hole. Do the same thing on this one, Bridge Edge Loops, and this one. So you have to do them individually. Okay, so I have those, right? But I want to bevel. I always will bevel. So Shift Alt and click this edge, this edge. I went to edge selection quickly. This edge and this edge. This one and this one. And I'm probably not going to see the inside. In fact, I'm probably going to get rid of these faces. So I'm just going to bevel these. And we'll leave it at that. Control B, pull. I just want 3. And I will get rid of these faces. So press 3 for face selection. Hover over an edge here and Control Alt and click. Control Alt. Shift and Alt actually is what I'm doing. Shift and I was saying Control Alt. It's Shift and Alt. And shade smooth. And now we have those holes. So let's just come back here to the matte cap, to the object. And you'll see that they're silver, which does look kind of cool, but I'm still thinking I'm going to make them the black. So I'm going to come over here and over the hex value here, I'm going to Control VS. I still have that saved. So I've got this. I can slash key and bring everything back. And you'll see that these holes lead right into this. But I'm thinking of putting something on the inside of the hole. So now I'm going to come in here, select a bit of this, Control L to select what's linked. So I have the whole thing. Now I can Shift S cursor to select it. And that'll bring my 3D cursor right in the middle of the big one. Look from the front. I'm going to bring in a plane, rotate X 90, and I want to make it just bigger than the hole. And I can pull it out a little bit, and then we'll work on this. Okay, so it's there, and I'm going to right click and choose subdivide, and you can see there's squares. I'm going to increase the squares. There's 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't want them too small. We'll try that. Okay, Control F now and choose poke faces, and I get this, it's almost diamond pattern. And then while it's still selected, Control F tries to quads, and I have these triangles or diamonds or whatever. Now I'm going to press I, but I'm going to press it twice, and that will allow me to inset around each of these quads. So I'm going to press I, hold Shift. You want to hold Shift, pull in, and you see the orange area? I'm going to be getting rid of that. I don't want the white area to be too big or it won't look right. I'm just going to go something like this, X faces, and I have this now. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull it back so that it's inside, so it looks like that. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to give it some thickness. I'm going to press E to extrude, gesture back, and I want to get rid of these back faces, so I'm going to press X faces. I don't need them. And then I'm going to shade smooth, and that'll sort of round them a little bit, and that's all I'm going to do with that. So I've got that one. Now I'm going to come into edit mode, select it all, and I might have to push it back a little bit more. Okay. and I'm going to Shift D and G and drag it over here. Now I may have to scale this one down a little bit, so that's okay. That'll be a slightly different design for that one. Shift D to duplicate, pull that over here, and I have those. And I'm actually going to take those and I'm going to join it to this, and they're going to turn black, and that's fine. That's kind of what I want. And make sure we're saving. Cool, we're almost done. All right. Okay, now I want to focus on this, and you're going to see some weird shading, and that's because of these edges. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 1 for vertex selection, and because I did a Boolean, usually it needs 2 supports, and I'm going to try to alter the position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press K for the knife tool, and I'm going to mouse over one of these vertices, click, and pull down. It doesn't have to be straight, but if you press A, it will bring it to the bottom, click, and hit the space bar. I've created another support edge. Now I can come back here, and I should be able to dissolve this edge, and let's see if it helps the shading. X, dissolve edges, and it did by putting the support down there. I'm going to do the same for this one. So I'm going to come off of this big circle. I'm going to press 1 for vertex selection. I'm going to choose, doesn't really matter which vertex, but I'm going to choose the bottom one. Press A to make it go straight. Hover over there, space bar. I've created a new edge. I've cut through. Take this, X, dissolve edges, and I've helped the shading. And you know, if I look at the back, there are probably edges I could get rid of if I really wanted to, but since I'm trying to do this for beginners, I'm not going to bother. Okay, slash key. So where are we at? All right, let's go in, hide that, come in here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this edge. I do this a lot, right? I select a piece of geometry I already have, duplicate it, pull it down, scale it out so it touches, but break it out right away. Break it out and see if we can get it again. If I don't move it further out, it's often hard. So just hide that, take that, and move it out, and then unhide everything. Oh, hide that thing. All right, this is the thing I wanted. Okay, look from the front. I'm going to bring this up to the top like this. I might scale it in a bit. I'm going to press E to extrude, pull it down. You can do it with a cylinder. I'm just going to do it quickly like this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to roll my mouse up 3 times like that. I added 3 edge loops. Select this one, this one, this one. Pull it out a little bit. Pull the middle one out maybe a little bit more. You have this sort of rounded thing. Yeah, okay. I'm going to take this and push it back in. I'm going to scale it in the X, make sure it goes in. So we have this, and hopefully that's going to be rounded enough. I'm going to take this and generate an array in the Z, and I'm going to go down -1 and 0 out the X. It's just a design thing. I may have another idea for you in a second. I'm going to increase the array, and I just want it down there. Now here's what I'm going for, okay? You just see, it's almost like those little cushiony things you see in spaceships. Because I've done that, let's hide that for a minute. I really don't need this face anymore, do I? If I delete that face, and then Alt-H to bring that back, I can actually now, maybe I'll do proportional editing for you. Okay. Let's go back here so we can see this better. A little bit better anyhow. I'm going to turn on proportional editing, which is this thing. And I'll just use the default there. And if I start pulling this out, if I can use my scroll wheel. Oh, I didn't turn it on. Let's turn it on. Pull. See that circle there? If I roll my mouse in, it gets smaller. If I roll it out, it gets bigger. It affects the geometry around it. So you can sort of get a nice curve like that. but then don't forget to turn it off again. Okay, so I'm going to take these, I'm going to move them all back a little bit. And I got rid of that back panel, which is really not necessary. Alt-H to bring that back, and let's go have a look at this. All right, it's just something I wanted to put in there. I don't know why. What I need is I need an edge that goes all the way around. Let's see, is this one going to work? Could take that. You see that goes all the way around pretty much. Look, let's borrow that. Shift D. Let's pull it up and see what it is. Let's break it out. Now, if you didn't do what I just did, you may not have this problem. Press 1 for vertex selection. Oh, we got a lot of extra vertices. That's fine. I'm going to join these so that it's completed, and then I'm going to press B, and I'm going to border select all of those. I want these in the curve. X, dissolve vertices, and I'm back to where I was. F to make a face, pull this thing down, and now I can bring it wherever I want. It may be flipped. Alt-H, let's bring stuff back. I just want to look with respect to, I'm going to bring it up to about there. Actually, if I do that, look at my holes, eh? I guess it was it down there? Oh, this is weird now. Was it up there, above that? Yeah, we could do that. We could have the holes there. I can even move these down if I want. But let's just have a look at this. First of all, let's see if it's flipped. It is. Alt-N and just flip for this guy. Okay. Yeah, this can work, and it's just sort of cutting this top one here. Oh, geez, some more work than I was hoping to have to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to join this stuff here, Control J, and this, these things are where? They're already joined? Yeah. All right, I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to see about, maybe we'll move all of these things down. Let's border select all of this and just move it down a little bit. Oh, I missed a piece, although that looks kind of cool. I did miss a piece. Okay, that's why you want to do it in wireframe. Now, does that work? I think that works. Oh, so close. But it doesn't matter if it's touching that. And you'll see it. Okay. All right, and then I think really the last thing that I was going to do, well, there is actually something else, is I'm going to select this and Shift S, cursor to selected, bring my 3D cursor there. And I had a little round circle there before, and I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to bring in a circle. I'll go for 32. I'll leave it pretty high poly. How about one in each corner? No, I'll do a smaller one around. Okay, something like this. I'm just going to make this simple now because I already did something different. I'm going to have to make a face, and I'm going to extrude down and make sure it's facing the right way. And so I could have this thing to make a little indent. What I'll do is we'll go ahead and let's focus just on that, and we'll bevel this with 3, and that's pretty good. And is it facing the right way? Did I already flip it? Yeah, okay. And I might just scale it in the Z, make it a bit thicker. I'm going to push it down. Okay. And then what I thought I would do is duplicate this. I'll scale it. Don't worry if it looks weird right now. I just want to do, let's just get that up. Yeah, that is a bit small, isn't it? But I'm going to scale it in the Z. I want to make sure it goes through this plane here. I'll put that there. And yeah, okay. And I want to spin this around, so I'm going to select this one, whatever. Select this one and Shift S, cursor to selected. And then I'm going to have to break this one out. So select it and P to break it out. So I've got this. I'm going to set my 3D cursor right to there. Come into edit mode. And now I'm going to use the spin tool. Spin. In the X, I'm going to drag. I'm going to choose use duplicates. 360 degrees. And I think I'm going to try like 6. I don't know what that is. That'd be something there. Select them all. M, merge by distance, gets rid of a few. And select that and Control J. And now I'm going to take the whole thing and just make it a little bit taller. I just want to make sure it goes through here. So I've got this piece and this. I'm going to slash key to focus on it. Okay, so they go through. Select this, and I guess I'm doing a Boolean. I don't know why I'm doing this exactly. Just for the fun of it. Generate a Boolean. It is fun. Okay, and I'm going to select these and apply. Let's take these and hide it for a second. As you can see, I've got some holes here. If I just extrude down, I can get the thickness that I want, and I can X faces to get rid of the bottom. But now it's flipped. Alt-N, recalculate outside, and we have this shape. Didn't work quite that well. Something's weird here, so I'm going to... can I dissolve that edge yet? No. Okay, let me make sure that it's all facing the right way. It's all red. I think we might be okay because I'm about to bevel that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is the edge going all the way around gets pushed into the side, so we don't need that. X faces, get rid of those. So the thickness is only on these. And again, doing a Boolean can give you weird geometry. Part of it's because I've got that on. Okay, so 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click all of these circles and make sure you get all the pieces. You can definitely clean up after Booleans. Booleans are kind of like a way to get something done. And then, let's not do that. Let's do that. And then once you've got it done, you often have to clean up. So, but I'm not going to do that in this video. We're just going to see if we can get by with what we have. So I'm trying to select all of the edge that we need and nothing that we don't need. And we don't need that. We do need that and that. This and this. We're almost done. There is something else I want to show you. Okay, hopefully I got just what I need. I just want to get a good vantage point. Control B to bevel, pull. 3 is okay. Just to get it like that. Shade smooth. We get that. Turn this back on. Slash key. You have that. Alt H to bring that stuff back. Let's take this. Let's take this stuff and push it down. And to make it, well, that's actually not bad. You see just the lip of that. I'm not going to make them any smaller. I'll leave it silver. You can do whatever you want there. Okay, so the final thing I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take an edge, again like I always do. Let's go back to median point. Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, scale it. I'm going to make some kind of like robot feet almost, or stand of some sort. Take that. There we go. Extrude out and scale. Like that, I guess. And I think I'll Shift D to duplicate, pull it out again. Maybe we'll scale a bit. E to extrude, pull it out, and scale again. Like that. We'll see how well this works for us. Let's extrude down. Is that straight down? Why is it looking funny? Yeah, something went funny, didn't it? We don't like funny. Well, we like funny, but... Okay, select it. Let's just push it down this way. Let's turn that off. It's distracting. Let's flip it. And then let's take this edge here. Pull it up. And let's take this edge. Pull it down. Take the whole thing. We're not done yet, but we're looking at this. Let's see. That goes there. I think I'm going to scale the whole thing in the Z and have it something like that. Okay, let's focus just on this. Let's come in here and let's select the back and the bottoms. We're not going to see them, we're not going to use them. We're going to do that, and then in edge selection, Shift Alt and click there. I think I'm going to do that one, this edge and this edge, this and this, this and this. We'll try that. Control B. 3 is probably okay. Let's do this one and this one. We could probably do them together. Okay. This has a back on it, so we're going to Shift Alt and click this edge and do that. Okay. Let's just come back here. Okay, and then I want something in between. I'm going to select this rectangle, Shift D, scale. Maybe I'll just extrude into it. Get rid of that face. Get rid of that face. Select these edges. Bevel those. We might be good enough with that. Just turn that back on. Let's just see what this thing looks like. Here. Okay, whatever. You can take as much time as you want on this. I was thinking of having it back there, and let's mirror this. About back there. No, I don't want it to exactly in line with that. Is that on the ground? Something like that. Huh. I'm going to trust myself and keep that. I'm going to hide the wall, select that, and I'm going to Shift D to duplicate it, pull it over, and I'm going to put that in the second one there. We'll bring the wall back, and let's have a look with a different matte cap, and I'll turn the shadows on, and this is what we got. Okay, we can try, say, this one. Double check that those feet aren't flipped. Okay, this is flipped. I'm going to take the whole thing and calculate. There we go. Turn that off. Press T to hide that. Control spacebar. And we have our little device. Okay. Looks pretty good just in the viewport display. And then it's always fun trying the different matte caps. You know, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, taking a screenshot of that, or you can always come up here and just go view, viewport render, and you'll get something that you can use. You could sharpen that in GIMP or whatever, or just use that without even rendering at all. Just all based on the matte cap and its lighting. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that for now, and I am going to make this model available on the Zero Bio Patreon. It might take me a day or so. Like I said in the previous videos, all the models that I make here on YouTube are going to be available to patrons there. And if you want to take them apart and texture them or make some changes. All right, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.